Good morning, my English-speaking friends. One of them, Maria from US, just commented one of my videos and said that she would wish I had subtitles, English subtitles there. I do short videos, devotionals. As a matter of fact, I read the Word, and as I do every day, whatever I get that day, I share right away and speak it to YouTube. So it's a fresh thing, but I don't do those in English mostly. I do those in Estonian. So as a favor to Maria and hopefully others who would, enjoy it, I want to do one in English today and maybe in the future as well, try to do as many as I can. Now, I am in the book of Luke, and I'm here, just finished my breakfast, so I still have my coffee. As a matter of fact, this is an American cup for those of my American friends. I'm sure this was given to me in the States, United States of America. Beautiful. I love the country of America. It's just been a blessing to me. God really connected me with that nation years ago, 1992 to start with. I was there first time, and since then I've been 30 and more times to US. It's been a blessing. So I may have a little cough every now and then, but I went through this COVID-19 about 3 weeks ago. It was actually tough fight. But the Lord saw me through, praise God. Now, I was in the book of Luke, chapter 19. And let me see if I'm at the right place here. Yes, I am. And I was reading through Jesus talking about Jerusalem and the top clergy and spiritual people of that time, priests, Pharisees, Sadducees, not recognizing Jesus as a Messiah. And Jesus finishes that little report with the verse 44 saying, "Thou knowest not the time of thy visitation." Now that word time there is the word kairos, which most of you of course know means an opportune time ripe for something, a season of doing something that is ripened for that particular time frame. It's not going to last forever. It's there for a moment, if not seized, that will pass. And I want to talk a little bit about opportunities. I think we don't recognize sometimes God's given opportunities, and we're not ready for them. Years ago, I remember I was looking for a job, and not really looking for it, but I was kind of considering to do something that would bring more income, and I was already pastoring and struggling financially there. And I was going through the paper, and there were these ads for to hire people. They needed a director or CEO for that, and they needed a high-end accountant for that, and different positions. And I was just looking at all of them, and I kind of felt confident that I would be capable of doing some of these things. Probably overestimated myself, I'm sure, but I couldn't grab hold of any of these opportunities because I wasn't ready for them. I was not prepared. And preparation, I think, is a very strong prophetic thing, proclaiming that your opportunity would come. I think opportunities come to all people. but those who are prepared can grab hold of them. I remember years ago, the year was then 1990. I had just gotten saved. I was fired up for the Lord, went to a conference. There were some Swedish speakers, and at that time, I think about 600 people flocked to that conference, maybe more. We were all so excited. I was at the high school at my last grade, and I had not been really studying hard before. I was just fooling around, playing around. Then I got saved. Now I was turned on to the Lord. Never had really time to study either. I was just reading my Bible, going to church. So when I was there at the conference, they decided to translate directly from English to Russian because so many Russian people had come up. And I remember I was there 3 days, couldn't really understand any of that powerful conference. But the Lord spoke to me during that time and said, start to learn English. Now, I was learning English at school, but I wasn't learning any of that because I knew nothing. And after graduating my high school, I took all the books back to the library. And when I did give them back, I said, by the way, can I borrow a few English textbooks for the summer? And she was, the librarian was like looking, oh, why do you need that? Everybody's just resting and having a good time. And I said, yeah, I need the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade textbook, please. And that's where the English started, at the 3rd grade. So I started from the very beginning. And it is amazing that during Soviet times, you could just go through school and not learn some of these subjects at all. And I knew really no English at all. So I needed to start from the very beginning, very beginning. And then I began to memorize words. And I had remembered one of my English teachers from the elementary school had mentioned that she studied 10 words a day. So I said, I'm going to do the same. And then I added later 20 words, later even 25 words every morning I memorized. I had a system of repeating them and refreshing my memory of those probably once a week. So every word I found from any book, and that's why I actually ordered a book from Dr. Edwin Lewis Cole, because I wanted to study English. And while I was then translating Maximized Manhood, that book changed my life. And working and trying to work out these wordings and translating those into Estonian. Little did I know how much English would play a part in my destiny. You would have need to take out all these major divine appointments, meetings of Dr. Cole, other men of God. How much material I was able to read and study before in Estonia we ever had any significant Christian books available. I mean, there might have been few, but very, very, very few. And just all the divine meetings, appointments that changed my life, that helped the country of Estonia. People I was able to bring into Baltics, take to Russia with me and different places all around, which have been tremendously blessed. Even Estonia. I did when I went to university recently to get my theology degree, I did a study on the effect of men's ministry in Estonia. And the findings were powerful. Now, about 20 years after we started, and of course, that hasn't been as maybe prevalent as it was back then, but still lots of men and their wives, families were confessing, witnessing about the changes happening in their families, in their life, how the man had become different, keeping his word, being a man of covenant, much more loving, much better father, And I think men's ministry had a tremendous, tremendous effect here in Estonia. It still does. Now, none of that could have happened without me being prepared, learning the language of English in order to facilitate all what God was doing. Now, that powerful opportunity would have just passed me by if I wasn't ready for it. Now, life, I think, is a cycle. Not like let me have a sip of coffee here. And I don't want to be too long, but just a few things I want to share more. I think life is not a line from A to B. I think life is a cycle. I don't mean reincarnations and all of that, though we don't believe that, of course, as Christians. Bible says differently. But cycle signifies of different conditions returning again. At this point, you were able to sow, and then came fall, and whatever happened there with the seeds and the growing of these plants, something failed and didn't work out. But the good thing is, life presents new opportunities to sow again. So next spring, you can try again. You may have failed in your marriage. You may have failed in business. Health-wise, different things happen. But the good thing is that it's not the end of the story. And you can try again. You can do it again. Because after a certain amount of time, life presents those moments with special conditions, what Bible calls kairos times, where you can do this again, where there are mature, this season has matured to the place where you can do this thing again. And that makes life exciting, I think. Now, many people don't recognize opportunities because they come in overalls and they look like work. Edison said that. And I think that was the problem with those people there. Jesus was among them, and they didn't recognize it was Messiah. And I think everything in our lives come not as it will be. So we look at what it is now, not knowing what this will look like in the future, and we reject it. I think even in relationships, and I've done that, so I recognize that. Oh, this doesn't look like what I prayed for. This doesn't look like what I dreamed about. Well, give it 10 years, give it 5 years, work at it. One of my friends who live in Finland, I talked to her. They've been married 28 years. And she said, I have the best husband I could ever pray for. I would never find a man like this. And she said, this is not like a old statement. This began to be able to do, I started to be able to say that just recently, just maybe in a few last years. It has been taken all these years to mold, and I mean, these two were very difficult partners anyway. He came from prison, and I mean, she had her problems, but see, so many times they had to give up, just go their own different ways, but they kept at it. So nothing today is as it will be in the future. Everything God gives is not in the final form. You need to work at it to make it look like your dream actually is today. And so many people, I think, myself included, sometimes do not recognize these godly opportunities. One girl I met in the States years ago, she was single, she wanted to be married. And later she shared with me how there was a man much, much older than her, maybe about 15 years, who invited her to come to a date. And she was doubting, hesitant. She thought, well, would like to marry somebody around my own age, and that's what many, I guess, women, especially, she was about 35, I think, they want to do. And well, she had her own idea what this should be like. And of course, she did go to that date finally and found out this was a wonderful man. Today they're married, they are a good team, ministering to the Lord, doing great work. But how easily could have this opportunity passed her by because she had a preconceived idea. And Jesus was on the earth. He was there in Jerusalem, walking down the paths in Israel, and they just didn't recognize. This was their time of visitation. That was the opportunity. So recognizing opportunities is so important. And I want to encourage you to just keep your spirit keen, prayed up, walking with the Lord, asking the Lord about different things that come on your path. Lord, what do you want me to do? That doesn't look like what I maybe prayed for or even dreamed about, but this may be a seed form thing that needs to be worked at, needs some attention, and one day it will be something that I have thought about even before. So let's be keen to recognize God's given opportunities and seize them and see what God can do with these in our lives.